Okay, so we can read it together. Mhm. Together.
How can a school community best support the development of capable, healthy, caring people with a strong character and desire to serve?
Thank you. Okay, how can a school community best support the development of capable, health caring people with a strong character and desire to serve? Okay, so we did all this, isn't it? We are just trying to those who were with me those years, we are just trying to do what? Can you remember? Right. If you didn't do, can you remember? Then yes, you are. As we did, can you remember? Okay. Um, can someone? Okay, I think let's in there. And the one I like most. When you are good to others, let me repeat it. When you together,
When you are good to others, you are best to yourself.
very good. That one has nothing to do with the teacher, nothing to do with the doctor, nothing to do with a pastor or a priest, isn't it? It's for everyone. You just have to be good to others so that you don't have headaches. Because if they hate you, they will start putting vengeance peace for you. So if you are not, you will be a free bird like a baby who just wakes up to cry and eat. That's all. Okay? Okay. Choosing. Okay, I can read through the course.
If they want the slides,
The Lion's
I
Quest
should add this.
program.
This slide.
Whenever we are teaching, we have goals, isn't it? So let's go through our goals since we went through them, just to remind ourselves the goals of what we are doing. Okay. To engage students, families, and community of caring relationships of high expectations for positive behaviors and meaning involvement. It's straightforward, yeah? Please, we already know as teachers we are already engaged, but I know teachers are very bad at teaching their own children. There is family there. You are also under the family category. Let us help our own children because you will be with them. Those people will go. Isn't it? Yes. We are very bad at helping our own children. So as teachers, we also look at ourselves as the family um, leaders. Okay. Then to provide opportunities for young people to learn essential skills needed to live healthy and productive. Skills for young people to live healthy and productive. We all know what is being talked about. Actually, the best is prevention, isn't it? Prevention is better than cure. When we see that these youths are trying to go astray, it's better it is worked on before they even start doing the bad things which we have noticed as adults that this will, will come out. For example, if you remember the governor talked about the children here being involved in drugs, young ones going to, if we can find a way of preventing that, then we'll be helping our children to live a healthy life, and their future will be productive. Imagine an 11 or 12-year-old child who was born HIV negative gets it at 12. How will the future of that child be? Okay. You see, that is why we even have a lot of suicides, isn't it? So a healthy life doesn't mean just drugs. It's a lot. Even making our children responsible, doing chores at home, that is something that we need. Okay, so we are just going through fast. The next one is to promote a self-healthy approach to life, to promote a self-healthy approach to life. Okay, free from harm of tobacco, alcohol, and other drug use. So this is already talked about. But on the other hand, please let us try to do some things away from children, even babies. Remember, we are also involving early childhood. When they see you, especially smoking, when you are smoking in front of our children, whether at school or at home, they'll think, they'll even start imitating, isn't it? When walking, if a small baby, even doing that. If you don't know, maybe the child has admired, and as that child is growing up, is thinking of, when I grow up, I'll be doing what my uncle, my father does, isn't it? Mhm. Okay, to engage young people in the good practice of good citizenship through cooperation and service to others. Right, isn't it? Being partisan to our country. It is us who should be partisan so that our children will just be following our steps. Okay, then the last one. So to strengthen young people's commitment to their family, positive peers, school, and community. That is where we have a big job. Because if we work on this, I'm telling you, we are not saying we can eradicate whatever is negative 100%, yeah? But we can try to do something. Save a few children. It's only that now our community is bad. If you want to correct a neighbor's child, that neighbor's child may go and report it in another way, isn't it? It's not like the way we grew up. We were everyone's child. Any parent who is passing and sees me doing wrong things will stop me and rebuke me, but not now. Because if it's you men, you find a girl maybe kissing with a boy, then you try to rebuke, she will change and say you was proposing me. You get my point? Yeah. So things have changed, especially you. Us, at least we can even be understood a bit. You just say, no, your child was this, not you. No, you. Even the parents will react for the child. And that is what is happening here in most cases. Okay. Um, okay, I think this one, let's read together. The last one, a caring community of learners is one whose members feel valued, Can we read? Don't stand. A caring community of learners is one whose members feel valued.
Caring community of learners is one whose members feel valued.
Thank you. I know others from that side can see. A caring community of learners is one whose members feel valued, personally connected to one another, and committed. Okay. That is a very important point to us, even to the children. This is not your last or first workshop. Wherever you be in the workshop, that should come in your mind. And if you keep it, you can even contribute in that workshop, whether at school, at depth level, that one. Because whatever you do, and if you feel belonging to where you are, the productivity of what you are doing is high, isn't it? Even in churches, if you feel belonging, you feel accepted, your input will be very high, isn't it? Okay, so let's just go through our ground rules so that we remind ourselves what we agreed. Oh, sorry. Yesterday, before we start today's program. Okay, before we read our rules, I know we are dedicated. We are dedicated, do our job very well. It's a job, but we know what is ever with us because we are working with life. We don't care who is looking at us as long as we are doing the right thing, isn't it? Can we all stand up before we go through the rules? If I can do no better when so bad, if I show no love. If I can do no better when so bad, if I show no love. If I can do no better when so bad, if I show no love. If I can do no better when so bad, if I show no love. If I can do one better when so much if I don't know that. If I can do one better when so much if I don't know that. If I can do one better when so much if I don't know that. If I can do one better when so much if I don't know that. Ooh, yeah, I'm walking, strategy. If I can do one better when so much if I don't know that. If I can do one better when so much if I don't know that. If I can do one better when so much if I don't know that. If I can do one better when so much if I don't know that. Ooh, yeah, baby. I'm walking, strategy. Thank you very much. Thank you for this. Well, I can't see the names. Okay. Maurice is going to go through our ground rules before we start today's. Oh, Maurice. Can we please be upstanding as we welcome our senior participants. Okay. We were with him, our PDG, sorry, past district governor, Lauri Peter Mangani Moto. Can we just say good morning to him?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. I hope we are all having a good time.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. And now, I would like morning to give these rules to you, his pupils. Not the way we were coming up with them. Now there is rules in his class, and you are his pupils. Okay. So he is going to tell us when he will be going through the rules and everything. Okay, Maurice.
Good morning, class.
Good morning, sir.
Before we do anything, let's go through the rules. So in this class, we must make sure that say our phones is on silent. Phones should be on what?
Silent.
Then speak through the chair. If you want anything to say anything, please speak through the chair. The chair will be here. Respect each other's opinion. Respect each other's opinion. Observe time. We don't want people to come late. When I give you an activity, please finish on time. No mini meetings. I don't want to see anyone discussing behind the desk unless I give you permission. No unnecessary movements. Please be allowed to move, but no unnecessary movements. Number 7, total participation. I want everyone to participate in this class. I'll add one more. Yesterday, I will say some of you were so there shall be no dose.
Thou shalt not go.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Let me give you two. Okay. Push over to you.
Thank you very much, Grace. Thank you, members, for the session on reflection and energizer. Grace, I will ask for private classes to learn the song that you just sang. Hope you won't charge me much.
I'll tell you.
Now, we are going to continue from where we stopped yesterday. I pray that now we are all conversant with the material. We are conversant with the kind of questions that come up and we need to answer them as a team. I would like to invite you to again review what you have, the things we went through yesterday since you worked as groups. Members presented very well on the units, what is covered under Unit 1 on positive learning community. The major part of yesterday, we did it trying to create such an environment for a learning community of caring relationships, of valuable friends, so that learning can take place. And we said you're a replica of a kind of classroom we expect you to have when you're implementing Lions Quest in your different workplaces. Then we looked at once they've done the setting kind of environment, then they go on developing themselves. That is under Unit 2, personal development. And when they are aware of themselves, you remember that we looked at the social emotional competences. Under this, every unit brings out the social emotional competences, which we shall also review in detail. The self-awareness, social awareness, relationship, decision-making, we shall look at them in detail. The units are in a sequential kind of approach. You can't say, I will pick a lesson in Unit 6, teach it when you're meant to be teaching from Unit 1. So they follow each other in such a way that we are trying to develop that healthy, young, capable adult. Then when they are aware of themselves socially, then they can take care of their health and prevention methods. Then they develop their leadership and service learning takes place. They are able to give others, they are able to do things without expectation, they are able to care for one another. That is seen much more in Unit 5 when we are looking at leadership and service learning. And then once we've done all that, we reflect, celebrate, and close. We are going to see you practice this during the material review today, the material work today. And we hope that you will go away with a more clear understanding. So having implemented this program, what are the kind of values we want to see in the young people? Give me the next slide. The traditional values that some of them which are nurtured from home, some of them which are nurtured through learning, are such values that we are seeing on the screen. Somebody can volunteer to read them for us.
For self with others, kindness, responsibility, honest, commitment to family, service, courage.
Give her flowers. I hear it's a lady. Thank you very much. Yesterday, during the morning part, I remember that we had a session where we said, what do we want to see in the young people? And some of these are the points that you shared. And there is also more, the skill categories that we would like to see developed. As we said, this is a prevention program. So we try to get the children to learn those skills, to learn those values that would enable them to stay away from harm and destruction. So let's look also at the skill categories. Unless you have a question on any of these, I think these are really clear. Next slide. So we also look at the wide range of skill categories that we are trying to nurture among the young people. Again, Grace, you can lead us on those. I see you're the one with the mic.
Okay. Self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, communication, cooperation, responsibility, decision-making, service learning, critical thinking, problem solving, resisting pressure, handling bullying, strengthening relationships, appreciating the family, goal setting. Okay, done.
Thank you very much. So we see that the program teaches a full set of social and emotional competences that are proven to be of positive impact on the young people. In order to be able to achieve their academic excellence, they need also to be brought up in a way that helps them to be responsible and be serious with the work that promotes their well-being. And Lions Quest is a research-based program that shows that when we have all the teaching environment, we have the right mode of instruction, then we would have such young adults that are able to flourish through the hardships that come their way. And from this, having seen this, I would like you to be introduced to the conceptual mode of Lion's Quest, which is on the next slide. I would like you to look at it based on what you went through yesterday, based on what we are talking about right now, and we see if somebody can help to interpret and explain to us that model. Have a moment to look at it. That is the Lion's Quest conceptual model.
As she said.
Yes. You can take on the lead, or Grace. Somebody volunteers can help interpret it for us. What does it portray? What comes to mind? What do you think each section is talking about?
Okay, I think, as she has said, let us look at the chart that is displayed there. We read what is there and then digest and relate it to our day-to-day, and then we say what we think the church is saying, what those things mean, or how do we relate them to our communities, the school community, the family community, and other communities where the adolescents are found. Okay. So we have external conditions, environmental skill, instruction, and information. Okay. So what are the external conditions? Okay.
When we look at external conditions, I think these are things that affect the growth of a child. For example, when we talk about the environment, it is in this environment where the child is coming from. We find that the environment where the child is coming from has a great impact on who that child will become. I can give an example. Yesterday, people talked a lot about beer drinking. There are environments where we find people drink a lot of beer. So as the child was growing in that environment, the child will think beer drinking is a good thing. Then when we look at skill instruction as an external condition, we are saying that we teach at home, different homes, teach children different skills. So a child will take how he or she is instructed or what she is instructed to do on a certain skill. The last one is information as an external condition. The information which you get, the information which you receive, maybe at home, a child will take that information, whether it's the truth or there are some elements of lies there, the child will take that information as the gospel truth. That's what I can say on the external condition. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Can we give our flowers? Okay. Okay, so we go to the next one. Internal conditions, self-perception, motivation, and cognition. Now we'll be moving from flowers to food dogs. So any food dog or flowers? A food dog.
I think under internal conditions, here we're basically looking at the intrinsic motivation that child will have in certain things. And we look at things like, do they have self-esteem? Do they know their weaknesses, their strengths? Are they able to work on those weaknesses? Are they able to work on the strength to achieve something? And motivation, are they motivated enough to be resilient, to continue even when the environment is not safe for them to live? Or do they lack confidence such that they will not continue when something is wrong, they'll give up? I think those are some of the internal conditions that we can look at, which will help child grow and learn.
Okay, we move on to motivation. How can we we have done the okay.
Yeah, so under motivation, I think that then under motivation, internally, the child or the learner has to be motivated somehow. And here it takes both external conditions and internal conditions. External conditions, are we, the people dealing with that child, able to motivate them? Or are we able to make the child feel valued? Once that child feels valued, I feel they'll be motivated to pursue the goals that will set, and they'll work on them to ensure that they achieve those goals. So for motivation, it has to do with both internal and external conditions.
In the last one, cognition. Okay, that we can pass there.
Thank you, sir. The cognition, I think it's to do with what that child has come to learn, the knowledge. So, what they have, the information that they have now, part of them. So it becomes an intent condition, which will now affect how they proceed. So it's like that one is an equation. So now the external conditions plus the internal conditions are going to now give us a product, which is knowledge, the push that they have, and then the self-awareness, what they know about themselves, their abilities, put together, and give us the result. Thank you.
Okay, can we give them kudos? We are here to make a change. Eh? Yes. Start, finish, start, finishes, she finishes. At the end of it, we achieve our goal. Eh? Yes, it's about working together.
That doesn't what God recognition of what our learners are failing to do. Recognition is something to do with the acquisition of knowledge, process, and for the method. But one thing that our learners or our students are failing to do is to learn through experience. So we endeavor very much to help them that learning takes place in many ways. So here is the child who gets pregnant in grade 8 and tells you for the system. You use the relationship policy, the child is back by grade 7, another pregnant. They are telling you it's a mistake, meaning they are telling to learn through experience. So we help them to see that their things are better or should be learned through experience and also cognitively by the senses. They should be able to perceive things even before they experience them. Thanks.
Okay, who does for him? Okay, so we move on to positive social behaviors. Positive, positive. Positive way, which we all expect. Eh? Thank you very much. Okay, positive. Okay. Ratio.
Okay, so on positive social behaviors, it's important for learners to acquire self-discipline because in order for someone to achieve any goal, they need to have discipline. And they also have to build on being responsible. You can never achieve a goal if you don't take responsibility for your life as well as the people around you. And when it comes to good judgment, especially now, there are a lot of choices that young people have to make. So they have to develop the skill to make good judgment between the options that they find themselves in. And respect for self and others. If you don't respect yourself, it's very difficult for you to achieve your goal because you always feel like you are less and you always not aim high. But when you have respect for yourself and respect for others, you'll be able to push through and persevere until you achieve your goal. So having positive social behaviors towards oneself and others is very important in achieving one's goal.
Okay. Okay, before we give her flowers, she said, I have to respect yourself and love yourself, which is taking us back to when you are good to others.
Okay.
Yes, a child will start seeing good things in other people, but a child who always sees bad things in other people is always what? Negative. Eh?
It's okay.
Even if you, no matter how you teach, no matter how you try to help, that child will just look at the bad part of you, isn't it? So I think that one it's us also. We should be in turn be part of developing that as teachers and parents. We cancel, we feed, we do what? Okay. Flowers for her. I like the way you are making the flowers. Okay. Now the last one, commitment and bonding. Commitment and bonding. Family, school, peers, and community. commitment and bonding.
I commit, bond, act and quietly, bond.
Family, school, peers, and community. We are now concluding the hand.
You see now it's even putting in a song.
We can say so that we see ourselves bonding it. Okay.
Commitment and bonding. We have family, we have school, we have peers and community. I think this brings us to a sense of belonging. Wherever we are, we want to feel and a part and belonging to that particular group. If a child feels isolated in the family, you find that they will even become dubious. Their behavior will not be in line. But when they know that they are accepted and they are part of the family, they'll have a sense of respect and they'll have a sense of commitment to that particular family. The same goes for a school environment. I think yesterday there was an example given where a child is always, whenever a child does something, it's like they are pushed away. In that sense, if a child does not feel like they belong in that school setup, they will not achieve their goals because they always want to have their own mind. But when they feel like they belong, they'll be part and parcel of the vision that the school has, and eventually they'll be able to achieve the set goals. When it comes to their peers, everyone wants to have a friend, and if you feel like you are not bonding with the people around, you'll be an isolated human being. And the saying goes, no man is an island. You can't achieve much when you are alone. So learners must be able to bond with their peers so that they can share ideas and which will help them to achieve their goals. And ultimately, this brings about to community, family, school, peers, ultimately brings back to the community as a whole. So if a child is able to bond at family level, school level, and with peers, they're able to fit in the community and ultimately achieve.
Wow. We are not going to give her flowers. We are going to give her something since she has given us what she has answered two from them. We all know to whom the city belongs to. Isn't it? So we start from where? From here. Huh? We give her two. We start two. 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 Then continue. What's the other? Right? What's the other one?
Just put it there.
Two.
Two. Hello.
Two.
Two. Two. Two. To whom does it belong to? To whom does it belong to? To whom does it belong to? Others just say what?
To whom does it belong to?
Then others will speak to whom does it
To whom
belong
to? To whom to?
Does it belong to? Okay. Let's see. Let's start. Two. 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 To whom does it belong to?
To
To
whom
whom
to?
does it belong? To whom 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 does it belong? Thank you. It belongs to her, eh? To whom does it belong? Okay. Over to you.
So to whom does it belong to? I didn't hear the name.
Rachel.
Thank you. So we've spent a bit of time on the conceptual model. We are basically saying that when you create external conditions that are conducive for the learner, then you're promoting the internal conditions of that same learner. Let's just use one example. The learner will have self-perception that is positive, will be motivated, will have critical thinking that are all in place and in the right place. In the long term, it will give us positive social behaviors that we would like to see among the learners. So we are saying that if Lions Quest is taught in a way, the way we've created a room of learners that have caring, that are able to work well together, then we should be able to have results of positive social behaviors, which include self-discipline, being responsible, having good judgment, having respect for self and others, and in the same way, they will be having commitment and bonding to family, school, peers, and the community. That is simply the conceptual model for Lions Quest program, researched and proven to give results if we implement the Lions Quest program in the best way. Any question? And you've spent time on it and you've broken down everything, which is a good thing. Any questions so far? And the next slide just gives us the case study that once all this is in place, then we have such, this is a study based also, that how social emotional learning leads to student success. This is a case study that was done 2008. And I always say wherever we implement this program that let's have a case study from that country. So next time we also be referencing a case study from Zambia. So go through this. We are seeing on the left, my left, the social emotional learning programming, which has created a learning environment, and the learning environment has safe, well-managed, caring, participatory, supportive, high expectations, together with when you're providing social emotional skills. Under instruction, we have self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, relationship skills, responsible decision making. These together done well will give us the short-term outcome, which are the proximal outcomes: improved social emotional skills, improved attitudes about self, others, and the school, increased pro-social behavior, decreased problem behavior. And in the long term, we are able to get distal outcomes. Those are long-term outcomes: academic success, good mental and physical health, healthy relationships. I always tell members that we wouldn't have divorce and all those broken marriages if we had a good upbringing. Then prepared workforce, maybe we would have presidents who are ready to hand over power like lions. Lions, you lead 1 year, the next year you hand over to another governor, and happily and celebrate. Then engage the citizenship responsibly. So have a look at it and see if it makes sense to you. And if you have any question, you ask. Are we okay? We move?
Yes, we move. Silence means
I do not want to take that.
Okay.
Silence means they are concentrating. Silence could mean they are contemplating, internalizing. Something may come out.
Mhm. Okay, I think we can move on.
Okay, so the next one is the service learning that we've been really projecting highly. I would also like you to look at it. What does service learning mean? We can now have members of the house participate and read for us and also explain it further. From you and Grace and Chimwemo, you can take over now.
Okay. You can read.
Service learning is participation in methodology that engages students in learning and
Volume.
service learning is an educational methodology that engages students in learning and applying academic, social, and personal skills to real life issues that improve the school and community.
Good morning once again. I think to us, yesterday there was a group that really gave a very good definition. I think I should get back to them. The way they explained that was very, very easy for us to understand. Can I get it again? They know themselves. So in case you've forgotten what they said about service learning, maybe you can ask them to I'll take the microphone, just leave it there. So is the food ready? They are ever ready.
See the house.
So learning, what yesterday we had a discussion on the talked a little bit of learning, which we alluded to, which is like we need to discover our learners, ourselves, and when we do that, we will be able to solve issues or identify problems that are affecting our children or ourselves within our community. We also talked about the connectivity of lives like with the Zambian syllabus, that it is really connected. The book that we have here, the skills for adolescents and the facilitators guide, they are fully connected. They are all elaborating on issues that are affecting our children and how we can shape our learners' lives, help them come out of dubious or bad vices such as beer drinking, drug abuse, and other issues which are not bringing up our children into deeper society. I think that's what I can say about today. Thank you. They you made that definition of what is this learning is, and I remember yesterday she gave examples. I think at some point I also talked about. So if you look at our Zambian curriculum, it's very that to what we have in our state. I think the 3 months. So they're being taught service learning, especially in social studies and creative and technology science. So the topics like about financial management, they start learning about such things. Then they also learn about how to help one another in the community. So they're learning that in the classroom situation, but they're able to practice it outside the classroom. So how do they do that? Through programs like Lab Spread. Okay? Through programs, we have those co extracurricular and co-curricular activities that are related to what they do in class. So they will have those clubs. They don't even have clubs in the school, not club space, but just any other club. And that's another thing we are having in Zambia. It's a problem where this issue of club, you have to ask for an allowance, but it's supposed to be part of a job description, correct? Okay, so we talked about service learning. I even gave an example where we had a club at Downs, sorry, at school where we had a dance space club, and the children are able to show what they were learning in their service learning in their club activities. Next slide. Family involvement. Can we stand up? Please stand up. The report.
David, I'm not hearing. We're just saying clap, clap, clap. Tota, tota, tota. Tota, tota, tota. Tota, 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 tota. Tota, tota, tota. The reading too slow and the writing too loud. I want to go by 6 feet. Tota, tota, tota. Tota, tota, tota. Tota, tota. Tota, tota. Tota, tota. Thank you very much. Right, I will ask somebody to read the family involvement. Can we read through? Thank you, Ellen.
Family involvement, family connection, shared moment, parent meetings, professional development network, cell phone implementation, planning skills, mentor the civic learning projects, and become directly involved as a resource to the program in the classroom or school.
Thank you. Just looking at family involvement, it simply means that you involve the family in the education of the children. It's simple meaning, right? So in our schools, we have so many activities where families are involved. Without the family, there will be no progress in the academic performance of the child. So family, the teachers, the school, the community are partners in the way we help the children. So now we're talking about these are examples. How does the family get involved in the Lions Place program? So we're saying parent meetings, they come in different forms. PTA, correct? Then we have professional development workshops. These can involve maybe training we invite the parents, they bring in a professional resource person if there is a problem in that community. Okay? The parent meetings can also mean open days, visitations to homes, or the parents coming to the school. And we have the service on implementation planning teams. This one, can I ask someone to say something? To share your idea. Service on implementation planning teams. No one wants to do it? Service on implementation planning teams. Sir, the third bullet. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, the fourth one. Serve on implementation planning team. I need help. Yeah. Tush, you can help us?
I'm not getting it.
Hello?
Yes,
Serve,
yes.
serve on the implementation planning teams. Okay. Implementation is what? When you are putting something to be there.
Serve on implementation planning teams. Yes, is that the question?
Yes.
Oh,
So it's being part of a group which is trying to put up or maybe setting rules or coming up with a group which is planning to start up something. So you are serving on, let's say, serving being in a committee, which is starting maybe a group or something, implementing certain issues, goals, whatever.
okay, Grace, I can also add on, I can support on that. You remember you've been selected from your school. If we can use an example of this team, you're from different schools and a group of you have been here. And after this workshop, you're given books to go and start implementing Lions Quest. And they have to set up a team in your school. Maybe when you've already started teaching this Lions, using the Lions Quest materials, you have a group of students that are doing some work. And you must have a team that will see to the implementation of Lions Quest in appropriate way. So you need the school team, you need a representative from the parents team, you need a Lion member representing the Lions on that team. So we could call that as a serving team. So parents are part of that. In a way, they get involved in the development of the projects that may come from class in the way they are done outside school. So we say that they should serve on these teams so that they know what is happening in the school and any other new projects. I just used Lions Quest as an example.
Okay, thank you, George. I think initially I was really stated. So, serve on implementation planning. Thank you for your contribution. So we got the next one. Mentor the service learning projects and become directly involved as a resource to the program in the classroom or the school. So the family can get involved in such programs. For example, they can become mentors. You all know the meaning of mentors. They like program to become the mentor. Who is a mentor? Usually in education, we like using the word mentor. The time when they were saying, "It's my mentor," you're going for in practice. I think the mentor is the person whom you look up, the person who was constant thing as you look up. Thank you. I'm using the word teaching practice. I was trained a long time ago. I'm probably the new term now. Okay. So, yes, we can have families getting involved in the issues of mentoring the service learning project. And then the same mentors can become directly involved in those projects. So all these points that we are looking at here shows that the family must get involved in the landscape activity. Without the family being involved, the certain activities that they have in their books that they need to write more or less like homework. So when they're given work to do, the family at home must be able to help in doing that work. That's like any other level program that we have. So family involvement is very, very important in the implementation of the Land Space program. Next slide. Positive school climate. We're all getting through, these are the words and phrases that we're talking about from yesterday up to today. So maybe I'll be picking a person to just define, for example, the first bullet, community building strategy. To be easier because it's a learning situation, so we don't have ideas from one person. There are so many in here, so we can come up with a very good answer. So the first one, community building strategies. They're looking at the positive school climate change. Even in group work, we did that. There was a group that must have done it. So you can help us. So for example, what is the positive school climate? Let me get back to it. What is the positive school climate?
A positive school climate, I think it is where maybe the buildings are perfect, they are in good condition, where children are sitting, there are chairs or desks, or even if they're sitting on the floor should be clean. I think that's a positive school climate.
Now that we know what is positive school climate. So first bullet, community building strategies.
Let me add on before we move to what she said. Then the positive school climate. Thank you very much for your contribution. The positive school climate, as she said, all those things should be there. And I would say the mood. It's apart from the buildings. A positive school climate is where children look forward to go to, where they associate with their friends, their teachers, they can express themselves and positively. Just a school. In terms of a school, it's a school which is welcoming. Where children look forward to go to school. We've seen that, isn't it? Yes, apart from the infrastructure. The infrastructure can be there, but if the school is the mood, the teaching, and the children, as in their peers, communicating, playing together, teachers being in good terms with parents, all that makes a positive school climate.
I think all those words that are there are the ones that make a positive school climate. Correct? So if you're able to understand all those bullets there, then you realize all those things taken into consideration will create a very good positive school climate. So I think we understand what that is. We can move on. Thank you. Next slide, please. So we all need those things, even in our normal schools. That must happen in our schools. So you have community involvement, Lions and the others. So the community, so we talked about positive school climate, now we're now talking about the family involvement, we're now talking about community involvement. How does the community get involved with the land space program? Through workshops like what we have, because then information can be disseminated And then that information which is linked to those workshops, it is easily be taken to other places. We have the school climate team, we have the service learning projects, all these things we talked about. We have classroom resource. Classroom resource would mean what? What are we talking about when you say classroom resource?
Material. The material that you use in the classroom.
So we're talking about everything, right? Like we use the word projector board when we're talking about language-based materials. Anything that we use for teaching language-based programs, you have books, you have smart boards, you have slides, everything that you use for projectable. So we're talking about classroom resource. Then also family connections become very important in the way community movement takes part in community participates in the language-based program. Next slide. So we have language-based program components, support thematic learning. That's a great pronunciation. That's thematic. Okay, so everything that you have, we've talked about positive school climate, we've talked about community involvement, we've talked about family involvement, we've talked about service learning. It all comes to classroom curriculum and making a positive direction. So when you have all these four categories, we call them categories, they will give you a classroom curriculum and making positive decisions. Lamtush, would you like to add on something?
Thank you, Chimwemwe. So we've come, this is just like a summary of what we've been looking at, saying that you teach a skill in the classroom, which is the central circle. That is, let me expand so that I also see it properly. So the classroom curriculum, for instance, we have a theme running through. So you teach making positive decisions as your theme. And we are saying what you teach in class, through service learning, the students can experiment outside the classroom. So we go to the school-wide implementation, which is under service learning, by having students collaborate on a project which could be on the theme of making positive decisions. So maybe students come up with charts to put around the school. As they do this, we are saying that through service learning, students doing something good for others is the best way to promote positive skills development. And this can be done through them working together. And we are saying that service learning is a methodology which can enable students to practice practically what they've done in class. Now, as they do this, we are saying the school should provide such an environment where such projects can be done. And they are giving you proposals. It can be school-wide through assembly on making healthy decisions. So as teachers who are guiding the learners, what can they do at assembly to display to the rest of the school on making positive decisions or healthy decisions? They again mentioned that through classroom, they did creating decision-making posters. Can they come to the assembly and show maybe or pin them around the school? And the school provides that environment, supportive, help them to do it the best way. That is the positive school climate we are talking about. Then how can you bring the family on board? They have service learning, the school is supportive. Can the family get involved? Can the family know what the children are doing? They also give their input. So in such a way, they are being part of the learning process. And then how can the community come on board? We said through the community, you can have key people being part of such a project, the Lions being part of the project, and then we are all working together collaboratively. And this is just a summary of the program components, which is the classroom curriculum, service learning, family involvement, community involvement, just in one. Any question?
Are there any questions? Let me just ask a question on service learning.
Yes?
I want to throw it to, on community involvement, where on positive school climate, where it says assembly on making healthy decisions, creating decision-making posters. I just wanted to find a lot of interest. Are we able to do this? Do we still have those assembly displays where children display the points to disseminate information, anything like sales, we still do that. And how is it done? Assembly. It's done for real. Because I've made another place where they stop doing that. Okay. So for us, we can actually work also for live spread, right? So if we're still doing it, we find a program, I just switch it to make it timetable for the church. So it has performances. Somebody gets a thing for live spread and then we do that. That would be very interesting. Thank you, Lantush. I just wanted to find out on something.
And also to remind them that when we go into our group work, we expect them to replicate what we've been doing in class. Now that would be like now we are getting into school-wide implementation. So when they get to do their work, give them markers, give them flip charts, they can do posters. We want to feel kind of what we want to pass on to the learners.
Thank you very much.
If there's no question, we can move and finish this, then they get into some other activity.
All right, it's time for tea too.
For tea.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Then, so your suggestion is that when they go out for tea, then we do the group work?
When they go for tea, when they finish that tea, you gather them with the ball activity, the personal ball activity. Then they come back and you give them the assignments.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
This one.
When we come
Yeah.
back, we'll see
This is a powerful.
So, David, I can type. Which
What are you saying?
I was going to tell you that some of those slides we did the assignments already, and the assignment they have to give, they have it. So you skip those. The next slide will be slide 24 after the presentations.
Okay.
there. Whisper to her. Or would like this. Whisper to her. Like when it comes like this, you can come and hear it. Then here we start from here like that, behind. So
It's like 26.
you'll be the last person there. Okay.
Yes.
So the Chinese whisper.
The head is cutting us. Just don't show this. Don't show
Standing.
this. Still. Okay, you need to learn this. Cha kwa phone, eh?
Very loud.
What's up? They're whispering something. And then? Oh, okay. Who's that? Who's the last one? Rachel, you're the last one. You're the last one. You're the last one. Good luck, Rachel. But we don't need to hear what they say. Yeah, they get
So the last
They're
people have the microphone. So can we start? Are you ready at the back? Okay. Yes, at the back.
Is the mic on?
Going deep. Going deep.
Join me.
John this.
Going deep.
The mic is not on.
The only two words. John Deep. John Deep. D-E-E-P. Deep. John, the name of the man. I think Deep. D-E-E-P. John Deep. So, what is it? You said John People.
Joint people.
Join people. Oh, join people. All right, then let's take our seat. Okay, so it looks like a simple activity, but what is it talking about? Teaching us? It's teaching us communicative skills, right? Listening, understanding the message that has been given to you. So usually, even in our workplace, this is how courses start. If I say no, they get irritated. If by the time he reaches the lowest person in the school, the last person in the school, the message has been distorted. And it will lead to rural monitoring, for conflicts in their working environment. So even our children, if we let them teach them how to have good listening skills. Thank you very much. So we can go to the slides. You know, in an institution, if you don't have good communication skills, and there's poor communication among the workers, that's emotional. That's administration is a problem. Please form. Yes, Trish?
You can carry forward. We are now opening into the teaching strategies. You can go on with that quotation.
A minute, Tush. We are supposed to check out now. Then you want to start cleaning the rooms. So if we pack, as we go outside, we just get the pack. Those who did not in the morning, then put them where we have put them yesterday. We'll continue going.
They're going back outside.
Yes, and then we can get our bags and take them to where we have put them yesterday. Okay, Tush. Over to you.
I thought you were going out actually. Thank you.
No, just to give the instructions, then as they go into groups, that's when they'll go and just move the bags and get back to the groups.
Okay, we are going to first go through the 4-phase lesson design. Then when they know what takes place in each phase, then they can go into group. So maybe that's when you can do that. So I would like to invite the participants to reflect on this quotation, and one of you can lead them in the brainstorming.
It is not enough to lecture children about money. They need to practice them, which happens as children build the essential emotional and social skills. Emotional literacy goes hand in hand with education for citizens.
What does that mean to you?
Can I read through again? Before, as we reflect on things, it is not enough to lecture children about values. They need to practice them, which happens as children build the essential emotional and social skills. Emotional literacy goes hand in hand with education for citizenship by Daniel Gorman. That is about emotional intelligence. So Atushi's question is what we understand out of that quote. Our own, just our own, not as the question. Thank you, Christine.
Yes, according to my understanding about values and practice, values can be there, can be put in place for everyone, but if they are not practiced or they are not implemented, then they remain valueless. They can only be enforced or they can be only seen to be working at all, they are put into practice.
That is Brisbane's contribution. We can give him photos and even the one who read, we can also give him photos. Thank you. Another one. Let's see. Work together. Anyone? Oh, sorry. The flower. Yeah.
In those days when we are growing up, when I told you have to kneel down. Because when you just get, like when you're looking at the plan, if somebody is older than you, the child will just listen, but won't see whatever, what is the meaning behind that. But when you tell the child no, when you think to the child, when somebody is older than you have to kneel down. Then it happens, what? It comes to a situation when a child just comes to you, that I just go to school. Then you will tell that child, no, when I tell your father, you have to kneel down. Then by so doing, she'll be practicing. That's why they're saying it's not enough to let a child practice, you have to put it in practice. That's what
Thank you. Flowers to our flower. Okay. And that's all.
Thank you, members, for your contributions. And like we've been practicing in this workshop, we say that besides teaching, you must practice it, you must nurture it. Most of you come from home, maybe you have children at home. If we can just use an example of ourselves, like as a parent, when you reach home, what do? Do you greet children? You say hello, do you check how was your day? Do they greet you? Do they check how was your day? Is that a skill you nurture among your members of your house? If you do it, then they carry that from the home, it can be practiced elsewhere. And in a way, we are building the the essential skill that we would like them to practice, which would help them to grow into caring adults. And when they are used to such an environment, then we would have less negativity. So this quotation is introducing us into the teaching styles that are recommended for Lion's Quest, those which should be on your wall, the 4-phase lesson design. Do we have them? If you can reference to them again, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4. What do they tell us?
Phase 1.
The next slide, sorry.
Phase 1 is discovering. Phase 2 is commenting. Phase 3 is practicing. And the 4th phase is applying.
And they are also here on the
practicing and applying.
So you discover what the learners know and you connect what they know with the new skill. And then we encourage practicing. You're going to also be doing some role modeling when you're working with your next groups. And we would like to see how you feel at the end of this exercise. Let's have the next slide, please. So we look at phase 1, which is discovery. Grace, do you want to take over, or Chimwemwe to explain the phases?
and there's discovery. So let me read this well. For the we are teachers, right? So when I'm talking about the discovery phase, what are we can quickly discuss? Yes, ma'am.
When teaching, you don't just go direct to what you want to see. You have to build a foundation. You find out what pupils already know. Then after you find out what pupils already know, then you connect to what you want them to know or what you want to teach them.
Thank you. So that is correct. Usually when we are starting a topic in class, it's wise that to let the children, ask the children so they let you know what they know. Let me give you an example. Like nowadays, the way we are teaching children, we want to teach about a particular country. Most of the children that we teach are widely traveled, right? So we want to talk about, for example, London. I've never been there. So I'll start talking about London from my experience, from what I know. But to leave it open, so there's no one to tell, okay, London, then they'll say, I've been there, I've seen this, I've seen that. So through that, we're using the experience of the children. We're discovering what they know. You don't have to impose everything that you know. Sometimes we even get upset as teachers when you think the children know more information than you do. And so most of the time it's better to just let it flow. In the process, you're also learning. So for me, I'll go like, oh, okay, I just never see so. What does it look like? And you start telling me. So from their eyes, from the description, I'm also getting something. So you can devise better for the children also. So the teaching strategies have open-ended questions. I'll throw it back to you. What are open-ended questions? And please give us examples. We call them questioning techniques. Huh?
For open-ended questions, I think these are questions that will encourage critical thinking. It's not a yes or no question, but the question that will let the learner explain something about what you
Thank you very much. So the children need to be able to answer questions that are always open-ended. Even the responses should be quite respectful. So we got the teaching tips. How do we use the discovering? How would you teach the children? Talking about discovery. So how would you do that? Okay, it's fair, but maybe you can just expand.
on teaching tips there, limit teacher talk. I think as teachers in classes, we need to involve our students. They need to participate fully. Then when they participate fully, they feel that they are part of the lesson and they understand more. Then again, you find that there are some learners who give negative feedback. But as a teacher, you need to encourage those learners so that next time they are not discouraged. You need to encourage them very well. Thank you very much.
Bring up the connecting.
So just to conclude on the teaching tips, limit the teacher talk, no lecture method. For us to teach small children, we do the lecture method like the children will be bored. So can you imagine in this workshop we're doing a lecture method? What would have happened? We would have slept. We would have been bored throughout. So as a teacher, you limit that talk for the small ones. We give them, even for the adolescents, give them group work. The way we've been doing it. Who's the leader? Give them a topic. Then they'll come up with answers. Remember, we've done advantages of group work and disadvantages. So from the experience that you have, you can actually help the children to do that. Student participation in our quest is very, very important because the ideas that are bringing in are the ones that are going to character formation in order. Is that another thing? Learning, the one that you like saying at the back. So the learning what? Community.
Next.
Connecting, purpose, connect current knowledge
Review information and skills. So what does that mean? The three teaching strategies is you present, model, you lead discussions. So what are we talking about here? Connect current knowledge to new information and skills. That's what we're doing. If you look at our trajectory, the topics are building from one another, from one topic to the next one. They are flowing in other ways, right? But even when you are teaching certain ideas, even from the beginning when you came here, the certain things, but now we're realizing that all the topics and the lessons are building on one another. What is the correct term? I'm not sure. Okay, all right. So if you're going to do phase two, where your example of teaching tips, give short presentations with graphic, model, skill, and shape for understanding. So we do this. Whenever we're teaching, that's why we have all these facts around us. Why? To make the child understand what we're doing. Okay. So what we call in our classes when we're teaching, you must have, you like talking when you're teaching in your class, your students should have speaking, we call it speaking pattern. If I attract the learner to learn. So for me, I'm talking about my experience at the primary school. Next slide, please. Practicing. Purpose, practice the new skills under the teacher's guidance. All the skills that you will be teaching, to be doing this. You are supposed to do an assignment, right? The teacher will give instructions, right? So when you go to your groups, you know what to do. You divide and have roles that you're going to do. So the teaching strategies, the cooperative group work and guided practice. Cooperative group work is collaboration in each group. Is that correct? Maybe can I have someone to say something about cooperative group work in maybe your own way? You okay? Understood. Okay. Then the tips, give clear directions and assign the group. You have been doing that behind there. When you're going to do the next activity, please in your group, can you choose the leader? Can you do this? Can you do that? And when you go to a group, you do this, you do that, and come back after 1 hour. Okay? So everyone is doing that in your house space as a teacher, you have to give clear direction so that there is no confusion. If they're coming back to ask you questions, when they do that, then you know that the communication hasn't flowed through properly. Okay. Then we have we're done. Give clear directions, assign group roles. And group roles is where we say who's the chairperson, who's the secretary, who's the person to collect the materials. Next slide. Phase 4, we're talking about applying. Purpose, applying learning to new context. What are the teaching strategies? Group and individual way. But notice, in all this social and emotional learning, we're involving the children, right? The children are involved. Even here in the workshop, it's the participants who are involved. There's less work for the leader, less work for the teacher. So it's a very good one. So group and individual work. So even when they do individual work, okay, they should come up with their own work that they've done. But they'll also consult with the other friends just to get approval of what they're doing. So teaching tips reflect on learning. Next slide.
Chimwema, I want to add on that. Reflecting, you know that we have different types of reflection. You can have students make notes. You can have them share in a bigger circle like we are doing. So always take notes so that when they reflect, you know that they've really understood the session you've just finished. Every session you do, have them take some reflection on the learning taken place.
I think I scribbled something somewhere.
So examples are like those activities they're talking about from the general writing, do daily greeting, do class meetings, and give responsibilities. So I'm thinking it can also mean the same on reflecting on learning. Thank you.
Okay.
Next one. Want to say something too? I go ahead. Okay. So we have effective listening skills. The one that we did, our energizer. Talked about that is teaching us on effective listening skills. Okay, so I turn to the speaker, recognize the speaker's point of view, take time to ask comments. So this one, even if when the children are doing it, it's important that when they're in a group, doing group work, the one who's talking is listened to. Okay, so that views are talked about. So it's very important that that happens. If effective listening skills are encouraged, all this is done when you're doing this faith announcement. In addition,
I just wanted you to get the participants to respond on what do you mean when you say you're attending to the speaker? What are those things that you do that show that you're present, you're listening? And what does it mean when we say recognize the speaker's point of view? What are those things you do that show that you're actually present with the speaker? Those two at least. Let's get to hear the participants.
I'll try to do this at the back. Attend to the speaker. I'll talk on my part, my subject, mathematics. How do I attend to a speaker? When I give an example, I pose a question. I tend to write some points that the speaker has given. So if I've listened, then I'll write them down easily. And then I recognize the point of the speaker. I think that speaker. No? Okay. So I'm recognizing the speaker's point. So when a child comes to the board and illustrates or gives an example, on the board, I don't grab it. I leave it there. Whether correct or wrong, then we discuss it. From that, others will pick up something. If it's correct or wrong, we correct it from that point. So in that manner, you are recognizing the speaker's point. And also acknowledging, you say thank you for your participation. Appreciate that friendly. That's how I attend to my speakers and I recognize them. Thank you.
Thank you.
In addition, you can attend to the speaker by maintaining eye contact. Make sure that you are not looking the other way or you are playing with your phone when the speaker is talking. You can attend to the speaker by using the facial expression. You nod or you shake so that the speaker is aware that you are with him or her.
Thank you, members. I thought we should pay attention to this because we deal with the age group that loves care, that loves being listened to. And in most cases, when they are not given attention, sometimes that also leads them to diverting away from the good they could have done. As parents, as teachers, we must learn to be good listeners. That's why I thought we should discuss a bit. Otherwise, thank you, Chimamwe, you can go on.
Thank you. Can we have the next slide?
if we had time, those would be topics that we could practice with, but you can come up with your own topics. So we don't need to go through them. Those are just listening activities that you can do with your students or even form up others.
Excellent. Using
And then
open-ended
reflect.
I go on.
Go on. Mm.
I'll ask somebody to read. Using open-ended questions. That's one. Use open-ended questions. Okay. Diligent thinking. Use close-ended questions with checking for understanding. That's two. Use a full range of strategies for processing open-ended questions. That's three. Use subsequent questions on the student's responses. Use what you think rather than why to stimulate the latent thinking. Thank you. Use open-ended questions for divergent thinking. Use closed-ended questions for checking for understanding. What do you think that question? Maybe you can cut it into what? Use open-ended questions for divergent thinking. Divergent simply means why the thinking, right? Okay, so use open-ended questions for divergent thinking, and then it says use closed-ended questions with checking for understanding. So what would be the difference between the two? According to your own understanding. Use open-ended questions. This is where the pupil or the child has to explain, to give explanation. Use closed-ended questions when checking your understanding. This is where now you want to know whether the child has got what you were explaining. So the answers you expect on closed-ended questions are specific answers, or rather exact answers. Right. Currently, I'm throwing this, I'm also learning. So use a full range of strategies for processing open-ended questions. What does that mean? Use a full range of strategies for processing open-ended questions, meaning how you have to use a lot of different ideas, methods, techniques, right, on how to process the open-ended questions. Build subsequent questions on the student's responses. Build subsequent questions on the student's responses. Meaning, build subsequent questions on the student's responses. It is like the students are given an answer. And you don't have questions from what the students are given. That's what it means. Let's have an example. We can just think of an example. Where did you go in the morning? Response? I went to church. So what did you do at church? I think that's what it means, right? So you're bringing on questions that's on top of the responses. So in doing that, you use what do you think rather than why. Okay, we go back to the what the reflection, closure questions, the what, the so what, the then what. So at the end there, you use what do you think rather than why, stimulate divergent thinking. But if you do that, I think you block the answers. You have limited answers from the student. Are we together? Tita Mataripo. Bye, bye. Tita Mataripo. Can we stand up, please? Tita Mataripo. That's the name. I know it. You know the music again, I guess like this. Tita Mataripo. Tita Mataripo. Get it from this? Tita Mataripo. Tita Mataripo. Thank you very much. That simply means that the teacher is always powerful if the teacher is not around. Translation. If the teacher is not around, the other professions are
Useless.
Next slide, please. You are doing good. You're doing good. Carry forward.
What's the next slide?
I missed that.
Oh, Tush missed that.
President,
Tush wants to hear that.
okay, we
Tush.
go to the next one.
Tush said she missed,
Yes.
she missed that. She wanted to
I
hear
missed
that.
that job.
The joke is that the song is talking about teachers. That not be translating with.
The song is talking about pointers.
Okay, let me use the word teachers. The teachers are not around, then the rest of the professions are useless. I mean that way. Okay, I don't use the correct term, useless. But then Governor was saying, are you telling us that we're useless because the president of Lance Club of Kafue is not a teacher and Governor is not a teacher? So the joke is that are you telling us that they are useless?
Okay, you're doing great. Go on. So we are going on still responding with respect, things which we've already been talking about, but you can just emphasize them.
Okay, I think it's straightforward. Responding is respect, responding to what the children ask us at given time. So use wait time. So I think what do you think? My understanding, I ask a question. I pose, I give time to think, reflect, and then that will give enough time for the child to think. But if I get the way I'm going to ask a question, if my face is serious, okay, the child will be scared to answer. So even if you're talking about adolescents, they'll hold on to the answer, even when they have. So the wait time also, you're smiling at the person who's asking a question, you're friendly, and that person will come up with a very good answer. Accept mark for answer. So when you ask your question, right? The way you ask a question, you can ask directly. We're talking about open-ended and whatever we're talking about. Sometimes you ask a question which just needs a direct answer. So if I won't have children, you expect them to give you a verse answer. The way you're going to ask the question. So for example, if I say, what are you doing right now? It sounds a bit direct, but by somebody who thinks about it for some time and then answer. Some children are doing wrong things, they'll feel to answer. And then respond in ways that show respect and encourage divergent thinking. There's a question there, then you say, oh, sweetheart, what? Okay, well, actually, use words like sweetheart. Yeah, why do we do that? Just to encourage the child to come out with the answers. So when you answer the question, don't say, wrong. What are you thinking about giving me that answer? Are you serious? And the poor child will never raise their hand again. But the answers they have, they'll throw the answers inside. So respond in ways that show respect. The child has failed to answer the question. Now listen, my dear, if you go to the market, what is the first thing that you see? We're giving ideas to the child to start thinking. Even when the child knows that children who never they have an answer in their head, they'll be quiet about it. So encourage that again, divergent thinking. So you said the cars I'm trying to think of something. Divergent. For example, you say, okay, so you give me an answer. You said you love eating sweets. Who do you like eating sweets? Then the child will do what? Give a different answer. I like eating sweets. Then like, they're sweet. I just like them. Okay. So there will be divergent answers that you give them. Choose responses that show respect. Open up divergent thinking responses. Like, yeah, teacher. So a child has given with his pronunciation, you back up laughing, because you know that it's a second language English, right?
Nice.
Chinese quiet. It's no, I don't want that answer. It's and even the way you call it becomes a bit tricky. So open and be respectful the way you have to praise. Thank you. Can you try again? It's correct. But can you try again? I think it's a bit wrong. Maybe I'll come back to you after 2 minutes. Then you go like that. So you're being respectful in the way you're doing your access. Are we moving together? We can put the next one. Next. Reading skillful discussions. Okay, yeah, just keep going round and round. So use open-ended questions. Back on that one. Respond with respect. I think it's with respect to that one. So you are leading the skillful discussions. We're talking about skillful discussions. Reframe and then refocus the questions. Reflect the feelings and then reframe the feelings. And then we go back. When you say reframe, refocus. We help us. Reframe, second language. Reframe, refocus. Madam Google.
So a student can give you an answer. You use the same answer, reframe it, then refocus it to get the best answer.
Like she has explained. Okay. Now, I wanted to say that reframe, for instance, if you ask a question and then the learner does not understand, you can do it in a simpler way in which they can
Thank you very much.
Always taking into consideration the speaker's point without hurting their feelings or showing that they are less in what they are contributing. So being really keen for skillful discussions.
Okay, so we can proceed. So the next bullet was provide timely critique. Critique, we're talking about the word critique, meaning that to critique, to criticize, what's the difference between the two?
I think that is the point where what is wrong is still wrong. So if this child has given a wrong answer, at one point the teacher has to come out and correct that. So that is again when the teacher brings that criticism, it must come in a certain way, give that child, so that this child is not discouraged from participating next time. So if the timely, it will be given in a certain way as to promote participation for that ritual.
Thank you. Provide respect privacy. Respect privacy. Any discussions, respect privacy?
Here we must refrain from asking personal questions. Too personal questions.
Okay, the response is that you refrain from asking personal questions. Then honor cultural differences, the last one. Honor cultural differences. You want to say something about it?
Okay, on the honoring of cultural differences, we teach these children come from different ethnic groups. So sometimes this child you can ask a question, you can bring a situation whereby maybe this child doesn't know if let me say he or she tries to express out of his thoughts. So sometimes you would find that these other learners will start laughing like, what was laughing? So you have to create an atmosphere whereby everyone is equal, regardless of the ethnicity. That is how.
All right, thank you so much. But just to add on what you have said, honor cultural differences. The certain schools where you teach children from different racial backgrounds, different religious backgrounds. So you have to be careful the way you ask your questions. Okay, because it becomes very sensitive. We have to consider trying as much as possible to look at how to see how you're looking at. Let me give you an example. In my class, when I'm teaching on religious prayer, I have two Hindus, I have one Muslim, and the rest are Christians. So when I'm teaching about Christianity, I'm very mindful. Even when I don't say I want to pray, I'm very mindful. So we make it in such a way that, so how to pray in your religion? Each child will tell you the Hindu. So how do you pray in the Muslim? And Christians are also diverse. Like Jehovah's Witness, a Vestige, a Catholic. Again, you ask them different. Then at the end of people, you can say, okay, we all pray to different gods, right? And if you're teaching about love, they explain that. Okay. So any other point answer on order cultural differences?
Next.
You got the next one? Managing guided practice. Establish a climate for safety, a climate of safety. Clearly state the purpose of the guided practice. Model the guided practice first with the appropriate demonstration of skills. So maybe what can you say on those bullet points? You can pick on one that you think are comfortable. You want to start with the first one. Establish a climate of safety. Anyone, please? People are tired. We do have dropping now.
They're about to go in groups. Let's just go through them and then they can do energizers as they go.
Establishing the environment of safety. What I think is that the environment should be safe for everyone, whatever individual who is in school, in terms of how you treat them and the activities that are given to them. The environment should be fair for everyone.
We just need to break up for just 10 minutes because people need to take a bath from their rooms, otherwise the child will stay. Maybe just 10 minutes, we take our bath and put them away like a few minutes today. Every 10 minutes. Sorry, just 10 minutes.
Okay.
If you put a
David, are you here?
Admit the other. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
You need with me?
I was talking with my trainers. They are not speaking. Tell them to read their messages.
Oh, the two.
Mm.
Okay. All right.
I wanted us to do the ball activity since they are already out. We do it when come. We do the social emotional learning, and then they go into groups to work.
Okay.
Are we all there? Okay, we proceed. Sorry about that, we actually need to remove the back. Those is policy here and everywhere, I think. Can you send the check now? Need to check now. So, we managing guided practice, we said, establish a climate of safety, which was discussed by Kristen, and then clearly state the purpose of the guided practice. If we define what a guided practice is, let me try and see if we can define it for us to understand. Guided practice. Gentlemen? If I ask people, they are not starting one.
I think our basic to practice subject, maybe science, one and teach. Because our team, they started their demonstration. So I'm thinking this is where the children have hands-on. If they're talking about these other domains, they have hands-on. They are doing it themselves. But again, we can't let them do it in her. So if there is an experiment, you ensure that this experiment is safe for the children. It's not going to injure them, not going to, they're not going to be accidents. So you make sure that, okay, if I'm dealing with chemicals, what types of chemicals am I looking at? Are these chemicals user friendly for these children? And then let the children carry out that experiment. But again, you don't let them all alone. So that's why we're going to demonstration here. So the teacher now shows them how to carry out that experiment in a safe manner. And then as they are watching, then the teacher gives them that chance now to experience, to do it themselves. But again, as they are doing that, the teacher is also watching and is there also to give tips. If the children start also looking out for facts where the children may do these things wrong, may injure themselves. Like maybe if they are using pairs of scissors, you make sure that they are not using those tools to fight, making sure that they are using the tools for the intended purposes, something like that.
Thank you. I think that is well explained. They were saying, model the guided practice first with appropriate demonstration of the skill. We do that in our classes. Before you do anything, they need to demonstrate. Thank you. Any contributions from this other one? Oh, the hand.
The next one I don't want to say, in this case, the people, why doing this? The reason, for example, let's say this practical subject, they focus on this, they know what they're doing. And the other thing is, such practical lesson goes strict instruction, they should know exactly what to need, what is point one, point two. If they have not understood this instruction, they will go the wrong thing. So maybe let them clear, let them know the instructions and what is possible.
Thank you. We can now move on to the next slide. Managing the guided practice. Ask something to read.
Managing guided practice. How the teacher takes time. How the teacher takes the role of practice out to negative behavior. Determine guided practice situation actions. Provide supportive clear feedback immediately after the guided practice. Use flowing applications for
Are we able to, someone to try and see if you can help us using layman's language for us to understand those steps? How the teacher take the role of acting out negative behaviors?
I think I have interest in this one, not because in a way it's related to us. Like imagine you are a music teacher and that one is more practical. So when we say like bullet number one there, if the teacher takes the role of acting out negative behavior, you anticipate what the children are likely to do wrongly when given that opportunity to dance. You know you have your goals, but because of that freedom, you are likely going to have a problem. A lot of things may go wrong. Why? Because of that freedom, the children will end up, even if you are very specific dance they should perform, you discover that something else will come. They'll start dancing in your intended dance move. determine the guided practice situations in advance. It's like you have a map they should follow. But because of that freedom, you should expect that the children may end up doing their own things. So you should know in advance that what am I going to do in case they come up with they abuse the freedom that I've given them because of the music I'm playing. They'll start dancing to other moves instead of the intended move that I want them to dance to. Then provide supportive and clear feedback immediately after the guided practice. Because you have stated your goal, you can easily go back and say, okay, now that we've done this, if we achieve the goal that we are set earlier on, so you're providing supportive and clear feedback, looking at what you've done and the input that you've given and the guidance that you've been giving along the way as they were practicing. Now, using closure questions for reflection. Or the as in So now you are looking at if they done what we are intended to do. Now the only problem that we have here is we are dealing with the social emotional aspect of life. That was the problem I had. Imagine your skill is the self-discipline. So now you are asking yourself, have they attained that goal? Are they able now to execute, to show discipline? Are they able to restrain themselves given that the opportunity? If they follow the steps, if they haven't, what do we do next? So now, again, it goes back to feedback so that you are able to ensure that they master and they're able to apply the skills.
Right, can we give an example to Kumbu? Can we do the example to Kumbu? To who? Okay. Can you give an A clap to Kumbu? To who? What is it? An A clap to Kumbu? An A clap to Kumbu? An A clap to Kumbu? And they smile when they do that. Okay, next slide. Push, are we okay? We are managing. Sorry, we can't hear you.
Sorry, we are fine.
Okay.
To add on what he clarified on why we need teachers to take on the negative role when you're doing role modeling. You know how students nickname others from the roles they've done in class. It's also to safeguard the students because as a teacher, you don't mind to demonstrate any of the behavior, positive or negative. So the negative behavior, we normally encourage teachers to take on that role to safeguard those kind of behavior that may come up of nicknaming each other. And yeah, now you can go on. Every activity we do, you do closure questions. What did you learn about this? These are such questions that come up. Unless they have responses to the questions, we could continue so that we don't miss for lunch before activities.
All right, we're looking at the closure question. What did you learn about teaching social and emotional learning, SEL? What did you learn about teaching social and emotional SEL competencies through the lesson design and the structural strategies checklist? What skills are most important
to walk our talk every day in our classrooms? How will the lesson design help to teach, model, and reinforce the SEL competencies in the program? So those are closure questions using the what, the so what, and the you what. So, would you like to respond to the question? No? Okay. There are no comment planned.
So we can, okay, great. Move on.
The next one.
Next.
Further question, I think, if we continue, what would you do differently when you are teaching social and emotional competencies, CSEL? With what subject area does this lesson fit? With what subject areas does this lesson fit? So I think that's what
Maybe we need someone to share with us with what subject area does this lesson fit, like teaching using the social emotional competencies.
any.
Regarding to Zambia, feel that this social emotional competencies look in what in the law section for social studies. And in the other section, we have what we call RD, where like in RD we have like talent, where we have talent, where we teach talent. We also have topics in RD, if you see RD like secondary level, we have 20 where we are teaching children about peer pressure, or where we are teaching children to teach the society, or if you don't, if such things are coming out in those subjects, including subjects like civic education. So I'm really seeing this really fit well in our Zambian syllabus. And if we implement it very well, our children are going to benefit, and we're going to make a very big positive change in our country. Thank you very much.
So talking about the secondary school section, primary, where with what subject areas does this lesson fit? For primary.
Okay, next.
So yes.
Thanks.
Social studies in secondary. Other men wanted to hear taking their own side of the school section. So I need to find out if there's anything that we love, if there's any other subjects where we do that. Just to find out.
I think we have good studies before, and
Like drug abuse. They teach the children how to handle the situation when you're finding your friends, peer pressure. I believe in the primary sector, this is taught in almost all the time, especially when they're younger, from pre-grade to grade 7. And you find our topics are integrated. You find there's drugs in science, there's drugs in social studies, there's drugs in English, reading comprehension. So this is taught in all areas, I'm sure. So we're still looking at closure questions.
Next.
Is that the last one?
Yeah, let's go to the next one. Those ones we already looked at them. We'll go to the next one. And we define the social emotional learning in detail. You can look at it. Somebody can read for us.
Somebody to read it?
adults and young people to develop this skill of self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, healthy relationships, and responsible decision-making within a caring and consistent learning environment.
From what we've done up to now, is this definition clear to you that we are within the answer itself? We are, the next slides are just explaining those social emotional competencies that we talked about. So unless you have a question on this, do we all now understand what social emotional learning is?
They're saying yes.
Okay, so we can go with the first one, which is self-awareness. What does it mean? David? Over to you in the room.
Self-awareness. Participants.
You can take them through. You can read them.
Social self-awareness is a situation where an individual recognizes himself or herself, knowing their weaknesses and also their strengths. Self-awareness. This is a situation where an individual recognizes himself or herself, knowing their strengths and also their weaknesses.
So look at that on the screen there. Saying self-awareness is about identifying and recognizing emotions. It's about accurate self-perception, recognizing strengths, needs, and values, and then there's self-efficacy. So we understand what that all means.
So are those points clear? Then we move.
You're answering Zambia, you are saying, Okay, so we move on to the next one. Self-management. The points are there: impulse control and stress management, self-motivation, goal setting, and organizational skills. Any comments on that one? It's okay. At the back, let's say something.
When I would just talk about self-awareness, so it's all about knowing yourself in the context of the external and the internal environment. So when it comes to self-management, so how do you manage yourself? So under self-awareness, we looked at the emotions. How do you control those emotions? Now you are managing yourself. When we were talking about the motivation, the intrinsic motivation. Are you able to motivate yourself? Are you able to set goals and you also acquire some organization skills? If so, then you are managing yourself.
All right, thank you. We go to the next slide. After I understood. Next slide, please. Social awareness, perspective taking, empathy, appreciating diversity, respect for others. That's social awareness. perspective taking, empathy, appreciating diversity, and then respect for others. How do you understand that? Ladies and gentlemen, time for precision empathy.
I think perspective means that you are able to look at things not just from the way you think or believe them to be, but also look at how other people feel the same thing. Then empathy, putting yourself in other people's shoes and being able to feel what they feel and what it feel feel. Appreciating diversity. We come from different backgrounds, and so all of us have a way in which we look at things. We don't always look at things in the same way. So we should appreciate how other people look at things, appreciate diversity, learn from them, respect for each other. We really need to ensure that learners get to learn to respect themselves as well as
Give us flowers. Thank you. Another comment at the back.
Yes, just to add on, now we are looking at the understanding the society in which we are living. Are we able to interpret the society properly? So this is one thing that our adolescents are failing to interpret or to understand. Like yesterday, the point was stressed out by Grace that the society has changed. Our adolescents also see it that way. So if so, that is why we are now emphasizing on it. Perspective taking, how are they taking the society? So this is more about the external factors that are surrounding the individual and how they take and how they tend to exist within those factors.
Thank you very much. That is quite clear. We've had two contributions. We can move to the next slide. Relationship management. Here we're talking about communication, social engagement, building relationships. And then we have working cooperatively, negotiation, refusal and conflict management, help seeking and providing. So any comments on that? We know you're going at the beginning morning. Okay. Give that word. Maybe have some comments. Okay. Communications, social engagement, building relationships.
I think, thank you so much. Relationship management, now that they are aware of the environment of the society in which they are, and they are also able to manage themselves. They are also aware of their abilities, their inadequacies. They can manage their lives. But now, this one now must translate into their health relationship with others. Are they able to make friends? Can they choose friends? And on what grounds are they able to choose those friends? Because now they are able to manage themselves. So those values must now push them to be able to choose friends and maintain them. So what values are going to help them maintain their friends? How are they going to friends and relatives for that matter? How are they going to keep people close? And what type of people are they going to keep close to them? Can they even ask for help? In case now they know that they can't do certain things, those are their weaknesses. Can they cling to people who can help them positively in their lives? So as they are doing that, they are making those choices to to keep, which people to keep, which people to ward off their wives. It means that they're managing their relationship. I think that's my take.
Right, thank you very much. Is there any other comments? We've understood what we are still on social and emotional competences, responsible decision making, problem identification and situation analysis, problem solving, evaluation and reflection, personal, moral, and ethical responsibility. What do you think?
I think in order for someone to So in order for someone to make a responsible decision, they must be able to identify a problem. So you can't solve a problem that you have not been able to identify. So we need to help the learners assess the situation and see what the problems are in order for them to solve those problems. So present situations where learners can identify problems and think critically analyze those situations before they make any comments or before they make any decisions. So problem solving, maybe someone can take it up from problem solving. Problem solving. Very nice. We are talking about problem solving. What are we talking about? If there are issues around, how are they going to be sorted out? Maybe that's my simple understanding. There are problems. How are you sorting out those problems? Okay. I think that's a simple understanding. All right. So we go to evaluation and reflection. Evaluation and reflection in responsible decision making.
I think under evaluation and reflection, here it has to do with you evaluating the decision that you made and reflecting whether it's yielding results.
Thank you. Is there another contribution? Oh, okay. So, anything on personal, moral, and ethical responsibility? Personal, moral, and ethical responsibility.
Now here we are teaching our learners the test of which decisions could be made sometimes. Some decisions should be made personally, based on personal reasons. Some should be made based on the morals of the society. If personally it is right, but morally it is wrong, then we should teach our learners not to. Also, ethical. Is it ethical? So it should be their responsibility to uphold those morals, the ethics of the society as they make the decisions.
Thank you so much. We talked about all the points there. You can go to the next slide.
Are we going through?
These are just results oriented, that when we do the right things, then we should have students demonstrate the following skills: improve the performance, high achievement test scores, improving learning to learn skills, better problem solving, just from what we've just been sharing. These are just result oriented kind of test scores. We can move. This is just to demonstrate that Lions Quest program is a prevention program, and early intervention would be the best to have the results that we've been talking about. Some intervene early because we know that this program has skills for growing, which is for the young children, skills for adolescents, and skills for action. Or we have intensive intervention where you can cater for all, but it's basically to demonstrate that when you intervene early, then you have the best results. It's a prevention program as opposed to a control measure. And here we are focusing on SFA, which is the universal. Can just reflect on those. These are based on research that when we implement and teach the right way, that the social emotional learning skills are adhered to and student behavior change accordingly. Participate more in class, demonstrate more pro-social behavior, have fewer absence in class, and improve attendance of lessons. They show reductions in aggression or disruption behavior and are on track to complete school, less likely to have more dropout, which is the case in some of our countries. We get students drop out. Now with COVID, there are even more stories related to school dropout. If our students are not able to manage themselves, frustrations get them out of school more than anything else. So we say that they are more likely to work on their own if the social emotional competences are lifted in the best way. And that brings us to the end of the SEL. I'm now going to let you go and work. New groups and Lion Chimwem and Lion Grace can lead that activity of introducing you to the group work. You can first do the Energize Lion Grace and Lion Chimwem, the ball activity. Unless there's any question.
We do it outside. There are more space outside.
Yes, outside.
So
please try to have fun. I wish I was here. Make sure you know everyone's name in the room.
We know each other. What we do is we have kids there. Life is smaller. You can see your name. You have kids in there.
Do you want to demonstrate for the group?
So the suggestion we demonstrate it. just for with a few people, and then we now go outside.
Okay.
We're doing an activity.
We can pin like this. We can pin like this.
And then this one, we make it big. We make it so that she's watching. So we're demonstrating this. The camera will step back. Let's check my progress. Until upload the space.
Right, we can go outside. Hope everyone managed to speak your name. So the whole idea is for us to know your name. You see how the activity is going to be. So we keep one advice to know either your things. We can go outside. You know, I'm having a tea problem. Okay, because it is what is the activity proper.
Yeah, the activity is
Doesn't. Oh, and there's nothing outside the movement.
I think it's they are not okay. Okay. Now, what we are going to do is, we are going to observe. I'm going to throw at any moment. But before I throw, I'll mention the name. When she throws the second one, another ball. But before you throw, mention just like that, and all the balls are here. Then you mention them. Okay. Because this program, I'll mention, let's say, then Carol mention someone, then by then, another four, by then, then achieve all the goals by as you know, you have to make it. I saw there's only one current. I'll mention the name. The person I'll mention the second person getting the ball. And then another one. Just like that. Then we see what is going to happen.
Are they able to hear me? Okay, it's fine.
Now listen. You said the name. You said when you said I'll be waiting. I know that's the point. Immediately you said Eunice said, "Oh, what's for Eunice?" Immediately she says, "Namero, the boy is following for them."
Some people are starting with the poll.
Yeah.
Interrupted with the poll.
As
That's too much. Tush, how long should this take?
It should end now. And the rest they've observed.
Okay, so they should come back.
Yeah, let them reflect on the activity and then give them their assignments.
Just find what is coming. If you are looking at how this is what happens when there is not. He wants to listen to the reflection. Okay, so now we know what we are going to do. So as we are going to start remembering things which we thought can be compared to what happens in our classroom. Okay.
Pass all the balls to me.
We can use our sanitizer. Use sanitizer. And in the box we can, in the box there. Let's use sanitizer. Let's sanitize our hands.
Hello.
Have you reflected on what you observed happening during the activity? Just to hear, and then you give them their assignments. Now,
Okay. Okay. So we want to do it here with you. Okay. What was the observation that we our work is? What did we observe?
What I observed was once you don't pay attention to your name, you end up asking another person a goal which is meant for another. So you listen for your name, listen out for your name, so that when your name is called out, and that's the goal you catch. Don't catch the goal which is intended to be caught by another. Other people's goal. Your goal is your own. So your goals are your own goals. Now, why do you be catching other people's goals in this activity? So your goal matters. It matters so much. Just make sure you catch your goals on. The children must be catching their own goals in this activity. Thank you. Right. For me, I observe to say this game requires focus. So because so many things are happening, sometimes you tend to lose focus and concentrate on what other people are doing. This happens also in class, where you instead of concentrating on what is happening, what they're supposed to do, they begin to do what their fellow people are doing, and they tend to miss the point. Thank you.
I also observed that when you are distracted, when you focus so much on what is happening with other people, you will not achieve your own goal with regards to what we are doing. So, if the learners are distracted by the activities that other children are doing, they will not be able to achieve the intended purpose or the intended goal.
Okay.
I think the other thing is concentration. In a classroom environment, a pupil or a learner is supposed to be attentive. Because if he or she is not attentive, she will miss a lot of things. Like the one we were doing outside that game. It's very interesting. You find that if your name is not mentioned, you're just waiting. Then you are looking somewhere else. If your name is mentioned, the voice down there. So concentration also needed.
I also noticed that a lot of us were talking, noise making. So in class, make sure that there is no noise so that we can that effective.
Another thing that we were encouraged to mention the name of the would-be ball cutter. So we were mentioning the name before you throw the ball so that you draw the attention of that person. So classroom situation, we need to make sure that as well, even in our lessons, we draw the attention of the learners before the lesson is delivered.
I think that's enough. They can wrap up the activity and get into the next.
Okay, I think what we'll do is we'll be input, then instructions will be given so that after lunch, just go into assignment. Assignment. Now I think now I don't like the group because now people have become more than friends. So we are going to change. We'll start counting from here up to 4. 2, 3. 1. 3. 3, 4. Okay, so number 1, is where you may you just stand where you are. Number 1. Okay, so we are going to, on your own, you choose the chair, the recorder, okay, the collector, the one who will be getting stationery, okay, and the timekeeper. How many? 4. Chair, recorder, collector, and timekeeper. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is number 1. Number 2. Number 2. Balazi. Muhimu number 2. What's that? Okay. Balazi na Balaza. Okay. We are number 2. Number 2. So remember, I said chair, recorder, collector, and timekeeper. Okay. Okay. Thank you, please sit. You have seen each other. So Balazi number 2. Number 3. Okay. Gilbert, Robbie, Ellen, Namero. Okay. These are number 3. You have heard what the parts and rows to say. Okay. So, likewise. The last one. So number 1 and 2, you have more participants. Because we have only 1, 2. Okay. The last one. Okay. Eunice, Rachel, okay, Esther, Nancy. Oh. Okay. Okay. So after lunch,
something like that.
we are going to find a place where to sit. If you want, you can be here or outside. Yes. The collector is going to get stationery.
Let's agree on the timelines. David.
Yes.
We need to know how much time for lunch, how much time for work, so that we know when they are coming back to the room to present.
Okay. She is checking on lunch, but we are coming back at 14th because it's already 15, I think 25. Okay. Over to you, Santush.
You have the work with you printed. Each group gets, I hope they are in 4 groups. Each group gets their work, then you read for them using one of them. And if they have any question before they go into groups, they can ask from here.
Number 1.
Group 1, Group 2, Group 3, and Group 4. Are they going to, they are going to get their own names when they go into group work, get an exciting name for your group?
4. Okay. You are going to give yourself names. Barazi. Names. Find your own names, your nickname. Okay? Uh-huh. Okay.
And
Let me read the
yes,
instructions. Okay.
yes, read for them the instructions. Each group has different work, but the instructions are the same.
I want to read on the classes. Isn't it? Okay. I don't have will read.
Right, so what we're doing is we're having assignments for material review for the workshop. So it already oh, yeah, they noticed the mistake.
David, do you have my file and you pull it up?
Okay, so skills for adolescent
group assignment.
Yes, it's showing right now.
to be in 4 groups. You're using the same sheet of paper.
It's showing
But
here.
the groups will be divided differently.
Okay.
So there will be going to be group 1, then you have 2, group 3, 4. So everything has been printed for you. So when I whatever name you're going to create, you just look for group 1. That will be your question and everything. Wait for group 2, that will be group 2. That's like that. So we'll spend a bit of time. Like now, lunch is almost ready, I think 10 minutes. So that we get the material and everything, and immediately after lunch, it's all ready. It is straightforward. Okay? So I think as you see in groups, you'll be able to understand.
Groups should create exciting work. Yes, they should be creative. They can even make a flyer for their group, introducing themselves to the rest of the group. They can use markers, they can use manila papers, flip charts. Let it be an interesting session when they come back.
Right. So do you have any questions?
Well,
So we'll have the people to collect the material here. Before we go, can we have someone to volunteer?
Shall we pray? Father, thank you for this opportunity given us to be about the precious table of our lunch. We pray that Lord is by the food that you have provided. In the name of the Lord Jesus, pray this now.
Amen.
So please, bon appetit, enjoy your meal. Need to teach you things. I don't want to tell you to go into group, to go straight to the group. Thank you so much.
Okay, you can pull that down.
Please, what time is it now? 37. So if we have our lunch in 40 minutes, that will be 42. Correct? Yeah. So we can have our lunch within 40 minutes, and then break up and go. If you want, you can sit as a group and eat and chat. That's another alternative. But 40 minutes of eating is a long time, because we still have to do a lot of things before we end up. You know that people would like to go back home again. So the faster we eat our food. Thank you. Enjoy your lunch.
Thank you.